What do I do in order to make a sale? Now's not the time to cut corners. Now's not the time to be dishonest. Getting those folks out. Yeah, you got to get out of the business if you can't handle the heat. Thank y'all for joining the Twincast. It's the podcast where business and faith are our foundation and a good laugh is always on the house. We're identical twin sisters navigating the real estate world one deal at a time. The Twincast starts now. I'm Cherie, your go-to lender, helping you with all things finance. And I'm Nicole, your favorite realtor, helping you find the perfect place to call home. Okay, so we're going to jump into a touchy subject. Okay, what is it? Predatory lending. What? Not predatory lending. It's harsh, it's heavy, it might be heavy, but not for you. We're going to fly through it. But I mean, I've heard this term thrown around. What comes to mind, I mean, it's back in 2008, we had lots of real estate. It was a catastrophe. And I guess that's kind of where I go to when we talk about predatory lending. But I want to hear your tidbit since you're a lender and, okay. So yes, predatory lending was a thing I feel like back then because, well, I not feel like I know, but it caused the biggest
Crash.
financial meltdown in history, because people were doing things that were not honest. They were taking
People
it.
and lenders.
Yes, well, yes, they were taking advantage of consumers. If you didn't know what interest rates were, if you didn't have a knowledge base of that you could come in and you could say the lender could actually just take
Make up
advantage.
something.
They literally could take advantage of the consumer. And everybody, there were so many people involved in that. And that's why the crisis happened, is because it wasn't just one person making a mistake and being dishonest. It was many people. And so now I feel like people even still, and fair enough, they still have a little bit of a bad taste in their mouth about when they come and they talk to lenders, they feel like, am I going to get taken advantage of?
I mean, they ask questions that are even people that are purchasing home. They ask questions that are not even relevant to the financing process anymore. I'm trying to think of a question. They're asking as far as interest rates. One going from one extreme to another, whether it's a 7%, and then they're like, "Well, can I get a 3%, or is this going to be an adjustable mortgage or something like that?" And
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah, because people really were taking advantage of that in that time frame where people were getting put in homes where they really couldn't afford them. I mean, I know some people to this day. I was not practicing in 2008, so I, didn't.
you are not part of this.
I was not a part of the problem.
Okay,
Okay, but
good to hear.
yes, yes, it was. But so I still hear about it today. I still hear people talking about it. I still have customers that, I mean, even that are refinancing out of those situations.
And you know what is most of the people that were part of that problem that purchased in that time frame, and now their kids are purchasing homes. So those the kids are coming, the parents are saying, "Well, make sure you ask about the adjustable mortgage. Is it a 30-year term, not
Is
a
it a
50,
fixed?
not a
Not a 50.
50-year term, a 30? Is it a fixed?" They're asking all these questions that are, I mean, standard pretty much now. A fixed rate mortgage is standard. I mean, have you done an adjustable mortgage?
It's so rare. I might have done two or three in my career because most of the time we need a 30-year fixed mortgage. I mean, in certain situations, if you're an investor, perhaps, if you're a someone that's going to be leaving in a couple of years, or you understand like, hey, I'm right now I'm at this position, but in the next couple of years this is going to happen. I'm going to have a huge increase in pay. I mean, there are very rare occasions where, I mean, adjustable makes sense. But right now, most of our consumers are doing, their first time home buyers. They're buyers that need a 30-year term. Of course, I always tell people make more than the minimum payment, pay your loan off, of course, before the 30 years. But in this case, I would say when they were buying in that time in 2008, they were buying homes and they were saying, oh, literally people could come in and say, I make X amount of dollars a year, and it's a stated income. You could just make it up.
So no documentation was required.
It was so minimal. In fact, there's a joke that we would say, and like I said, I didn't do this in 2008, but there's a joke that they say, if you could fog a mirror, you were able to buy a house. Now think of
That's
these.
in the lender community.
Yes.
Okay, you'll have your inside joke
We
there.
got a little inside joke for that
Okay.
because they're like, oh my God, they must have bought a house when they could just fog a mirror. You could buy a house. How could they do it? What were they doing? And literally people were put in unfortunately, a very terrible financial position because later on, when things got real, they couldn't afford their homes and they were getting foreclosed on. And I mean, can you imagine? I mean, it's so sad. And, going through that, losing the home, losing um, the memories that were built in the home. I mean, it's sad. I mean, and to be on the other side of that, sitting across from somebody, knowing that you're putting them in a bad financial position and you're still signing your name. Every mortgage that I do, I sign my name on there. And I'm saying I did my due diligence to take care of this customer and put them in a position where they can buy their house. And to me, to sit across from you, that was more common in 2008, in that time frame. But now everything is electronically, but still, I have integrity.
That's what it comes down to, integrity. You have to
Yeah,
have integrity. I mean, in any industry, you want to work with someone that has integrity. But yeah, like you're saying, to sit across from someone saying, yes, I approve them for this mortgage, knowing that this could create hardship and really a disaster. Not, I mean, who knows, a year, 2 years with that adjustable. I don't know how those work because I don't. But I mean, I did see and still hear about how terrible it was.
yeah.
So when you're putting your name on the line and looking across someone from the table, knowing that that could be possibly a disaster.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's just very it would hurt, it would be sad, it would hurt my feelings to know that I'm putting somebody in a position that they wouldn't be able to fulfill the agreement long term. Is that what I feel like? Back then, it, the paperwork wasn't extensive as it is right now. An adjustable, and I kind of, let me explain this. An adjustable rate mortgage now is I have to qualify you based on the highest amount that it could be, the highest term, the interest rate that it would be. So I feel comfortable if I say your interest rate 7% at the worst case scenario. If I then say I qualify you knowing that you can afford it at a 7%, even if for a couple of years it's lower, great. Take advantage of the 5% interest rate for a couple of years, and then it goes up to a 7%. But I want to make sure at the end of that couple of years, the 7 years, you can make this payment. I don't want for it to be a surprise to you that payment is, 7, 8, 9, 10. No, we need to know what that's going to look like. And as a consumer, you need to understand the gravity in which you're putting yourself in so that you can look out for yourself too, because there are things that, maybe your loan officer may not know. You have to take some responsibility too. You have to be an advocate for yourself and ask questions.
I do find that very often or common, in the car industry.
Mhm.
I feel like there's no requirements. I don't know much about, the car salesman and, if they have requirements, but as far as a real estate professional, we have documents that we're signing when we get our real estate license saying that our fiduciary responsibility is to our clients,
Right.
and so it's super important to us having integrity and, really understanding the gravity that we are working with people that are, really entrusting us with something that they don't do on an everyday basis. So they're really relying on us to do our due diligence and put their needs in front of ours. And so we know what we're signing up for.
Yeah, and so you asked me about predatory lending, which is fair. I suppose I'm going to go ahead and give you that. Just know that everybody on this side of the table, we're operating on the best.
I mean, I expect nothing less.
Okay. Now, on your side, tell me about the real estate world. What does that look like for you? I don't know. What is it called? I mean, you just said fiduciary responsibility. So tell me your take on this. What do y'all deal with over there?
I mean, we deal with everything. What do we not deal with? But our responsibilities, as far as, of course, like I said, our fiduciary responsibility is to advocate for our clients and put our needs, not our paycheck, but their needs.
Now, not your what?
Paycheck.
Mm.
Look, I tell my clients, I don't care if you're buying $100,000 home or $1 million house. My objective is to make sure that you're being taken care of. And if I'm going to do everything that I can. I mean, I'm working with a client now. He's entrusting me to make sure that, I went 2 hours away to go look at a home for him to make sure that the home is in good condition, that we're negotiating what we need to in order to get to the closing table, but not
Mm.
only to get to the closing table, that he's going to have some additional funds to make some repairs that he's going to need to do later. Now, he told me he didn't care about any of that. He just said he wanted to buy the house. He did That wasn't important to him, but to me, as a real estate professional, I'm going to go over, above, and beyond my call
And
of
that's what I
duty.
like to hear, Nicole. And that's what the people that I like to work with in my circle, the people that go above and
Excellent.
beyond, that has that
Type
at a
of excellence here.
standard. It's a standard, right? For every customer, that's actually a part of our company's mission. Every customer, every time. And we expect excellence, and we want our customers to feel that. We want them to feel that they're dealing with people that have that expectation of excellence in everything that they do. And I would say that is a prime example of going above and beyond, because I don't know many people. If the client said, "Hey, I'll buy the house. It's better than what I have now. I'm excited about buying it." You just didn't leave it like that. You said, "No, I got to go to this inspection, and I got to make sure, and I need to be boots on the ground. I need to figure it out." And that is, most people would have just been like, "Okay, well, if you're good with it, I'm good with it. Let's get to closing." So hats off.
Thank you. No, I think it's my duty,
Hmm.
to really go the extra mile and make sure that all the I's are dotted and the T's are crossed. But in regards to our sellers, when they're filling out a seller's disclosure, they have to be, I really want the people that I'm working with to have integrity. I don't want them to fill out a seller's disclosure knowing that there's a foundation
Hmm.
issue, the roof hasn't been replaced, they did a claim and didn't,
Tell,
and they
because you
didn't
know what?
replace.
Because the truth always comes out.
And then I'm going to have to deal with that later.
Hmm.
It's reflective on me because I'm representing you, and so I just there's lots of things that you have to do when you're selling your home. But that's an example on the real estate side of it, is filling out a seller's disclosure, making sure that you're being honest and you're having some integrity through that process, because you're buying or you're selling a house, but you want that treatment when you go buy a car. You want that car salesman to have integrity. You want the person that you're going to buy a mattress. I went to a store
Okay.
trying to replace my mattress, and
Right.
they said, I didn't want the best, but I wanted a good mattress. I mean, they made me, it sounded like I had to buy a $10,000 mattress to get minimum. And, I ended up not buying that mattress, but I feel as though that person was just looking for a sell, and there was not integrity there.
Mm.
So, in everything we do, we should have integrity, whether you're representing, whether you're a loan officer,
Hmm.
a real estate professional, and in any industry you're
Right.
in, have some integrity.
Yeah, absolutely. I believe, well, it's just Bible, you reap what you sow. And I believe if you sow those integrity and working in excellence, you will also reap those. And you don't just reap because when you plant a little, you plant one seed, you get lots of fruit from that, whether good or bad. So decide what fruit you're going to plant, one with integrity, one with love, with joy, with all these things, and you're going to get those things, and you'll get it. Whatever you plant, you will
You're going to
get.
get
That's just it's a principle that is not going to change. Okay, so I'm glad that you are operating on the utmost, on the best of the
yes, ma'am.
best, and
Tippity
that
top.
yes, and I hope that we continue to work with people that have that same
Standard.
mindset. Sense, yeah, exactly, same standard. I think that as this market, because it is a tough market. People are kind of scared about buying houses. Sellers are scared about selling their house because they expect certain amount of money. And I think that it allows for people to start cutting corners and to negotiate within themselves of, how do I get this sale? Do I not tell them about this? Do I try to hide this here? What do I do in order to make a sale? Now's not the time to cut corners. Now's not the time to be
Weeding
dishonest.
those folks out.
Yeah, you got to get out of the business. If you can't handle the heat, get out of the kitchen. Um, it will, and that's okay. It makes you better. It either makes you better or you get out. I mean, but be better. Work on how you negotiate. Work on your skills. Don't sacrifice your integrity to make a sale. And that's what I see. Even though we don't have the we're not having the meltdown of 2008 because the government put standards in place that we would prevent that. There are still times where people want to cut corners. There are people that want to sacrifice their integrity in order to get a sale. It ain't worth it.
We encourage you to be better than that, than sacrificing your integrity. There's so much more. You'll gain so much more by operating with a standard of excellence.
Yes, I second that motion.
So that is all that we wanted to talk about today in regards to integrity. And really, it started off with predatory lending. So thank you for sharing a little bit about that. And if y'all love today's episode, like, subscribe, and share.
If you have any questions about buying, selling, or want to be on the show, just DM us. Until next time, keep dreaming big, planning smart, and remember, with the right team, you hold the keys.